Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dalram, and in today's video I want to take a look at rogues in patch 7.2 on PTR and take a look at some of the changes towards Assassination and Subtlety. The reason I want to do a video on Assassination and Subtlety together is because I already covered Outlaw. I covered Outlaw in a fairly detailed amount, and I still have a lot of viewers that do come to my channel for Assassination and Subtlety PvP. So I want to take a look at everything that is to offer. That's a buff? Hello? What? Okay, weird. I want to cover everything that it takes in terms of playing Assassination and playing Subtlety in the next patch. I want to cover all the changes that are happening to the specs, all the buffs and nerfs. I also want to separate the coverage in different categories. I want to have a PvP category, but in a PvP category, I want to take a look at the spec from BG standpoint and arena standpoint. There are a lot of people that play rogues. Some people like to push ratings, some people are not that big fan of it and just want to PvP, whether it be BGs, world PvP, casual scrum arenas, whatever. So I kind of want to make sure I include both audiences. Then we also have people that do end up doing PvE with the respective specs, whether you're Assassination or Subtlety. So I want to cover those specs within PvE just very slightly in terms of like what are the changes coming out. So the first spec we're going to start with is Assassination. Now I already ran into a problem. I don't have the extra traits like I do on my other spec of Outlaw. But first of all, you need to fill up your artifact power full and then get 25 points, or 20 points into your extra trait, and I'm nowhere near that. I am nowhere near complete with that. So because of that, I'm just gonna have Wowhead open on the side so I can read what those traits would have been and discuss them in terms of what they do and accomplish for you. The spec we're going to start with is Assassination. I want to first cover the basics of Assassination, then we're going to cover the artifact traits that are getting added, then I'm going to talk about it in PvP perspective, BGs, arenas, as well as some PvE. The first change to Assassination is Bag of Tricks. Bag of Tricks now works with both Ruptures and Envenoms, which is cool, but has a specific chance per common point invested into those finishers to proc Bag of Tricks. So the chance you have is 2.5 per common points used. Most people running Assassination PvP or PvE are Vigor, so the maximum amount of common points you're going to be able to put in is 5. So 5 times 2.5%, which is how many common points you can put into a finisher, would be about 12.5% in terms of your chances of getting Bag of Tricks. So that's about 1 in 10. Now, this does offer you some capabilities to maybe play around with deeper stratagem, but we'll get to that in just a little bit. But this is kind of cool because it allows your Envenoms and Ruptures to give you a lot more chances to get Bag of Tricks. The only issue that I've had with it so far is just the capability of getting Bag of Tricks to proc. So I just use a Rupture on a target, 5 common points, nothing procced. Used Envenom, nothing procced again. Let's say you're in a PvE or PvP situation as Assassination. You decide, hey, I'm going to go spread my pressure to more than one target. Rupture, no Bag of Tricks. Alright, on to the next guy. I got a secondary character here, Rupture. No Bag of Tricks again. No worries, I'm just going to continue spreading my pressure. Rupture. No Bag of Tricks again. It doesn't seem like Bag of Tricks is proccing with Rupture. That or the chances are super low. And I can hit it with an Envenom. Still nothing. I actually have spent a lot of time hitting the train dummy back to back with Envenoms over and over again. And I might as well go back to it, just to show you guys realistically what the percent chances are like. And this is something that's currently available for everybody to take a look at on the PTR. So this kind of gives you just an idea of, I don't know if this is that good. So I'm not sure if this change is good. It's there for consistency, and I feel like it's mostly there to allow some capabilities for maybe deeper stratagem rogues to come out and play. But when I'm just hitting a train dummy, more or less PvPing, I guess, it just doesn't seem to be proccing quite as often. So I originally marked this as a nerf, or when I originally looked at this change for Assassination from live to PTR. But I'm not quite sure how I feel about it currently. It's just, it doesn't seem to proc whatsoever. And oh, it does proc with Rupture. Okay, so it does proc with Rupture. It's just a fairly low rate of 12%, 12.5 PP frank. So when it procs, it's kind of cool. And I like how it has more than one source to proc. But I feel like the chances for it to proc have decreased tremendously. Because I remember getting plenty of Bag of Trick procs back to back as Assassination was just one common point at a time. So I guess this does kind of look like a nerf, but it's hard to tell. Another change that's getting added to Assassination is Urge to Kill, which is the ability that allows us to get full energy when we use Vendetta. This has been an awesome ability for PvE and PvP, but they are kind of nerfing it now. Urge to Kill, active in Vendetta, grants 60 energy plus additional 60 energy over 2 seconds. Now, this is a nerf and a buff in one way, actually in two ways. Now, most people are running Vigor. Vigor gives you about 170 energy. With this change, you're gaining back 120 energy with Urge to Kill. So, with Vigor, you're actually getting a nerf. Where I think this is useful is with Deeper Stratagem, and people not wanting to feel like they get bogged down, oh, that's too much energy, I can't spend it all fast enough kind of deal. Once you pop Vendetta, you get full energy bar, and I guess some people would feel like, oh, what if I'm getting no energy as that happens? I can kind of understand that, but I feel like this change is mostly designed for Deeper Stratagem, to allow Assassination Rogues to maybe consider Deeper Strat. You see, with Deeper Stratagem, you get 120 energy. And when you use Urge to Kill, that gives you exactly 120 energy. So you're not really ever over-wasting or under-wasting energy at all. And it gives you the energy in 60 when you first use it, and then over 2 seconds, 60 more energy. So it kind of allows you to get the energy back and start, investing common points into your finishes as fast as possible. I'm not really sure this is going to get a lot of Assassination Rogues to roll Deeper Stratagem, but it is a little bit of nerf with Vigor. Now, some of the traits that we'll normally see in the weapon are Silence of the Uncrowned, which increases your damage by 10% and stamina by 10%. You have Strangler, which increases damage of your Garrote by 4%, and I believe that is 4% after you put all points into it. We got Dense Concoction. Crimson Vial reduces the damage you take by 4%, increasing by 4% every 1 second. So, Crimson Vial is going to be a defensive cooldown for Assassinations, which is kind of cool. I feel like it's a pretty good PvP advantage. I'm not sure how it is for PvE. But when you use Crimson Vial, you gain 4% damage reduction, and then over every single second you gain 4% more. So the ability lasts 6 seconds, so you gain 4% when you use it, and then 4% every single second. So 4 times 6 is 24, plus 4, you'll get 28% damage reduction. So with Feint, it's actually a pretty decent damage reduction that you'll have on top of one another, especially if you can line it up for PvP. Now that's a pretty cool change. I'm pretty sure it's a PvP mostly change, but it's definitely an interesting change nonetheless. We also have Sinister Circulation. Successful lethal poisons applications reduce the cooldown of your Kingsbane. So every time you pop your Kingsbane on an enemy, and then every time you apply your lethal poison, so as you can see they're kind of resetting right now, every time you apply it, you reduce the cooldown of this ability by half a second. So 45 seconds worth of ability actually might even be, I don't even know, I would have to test it myself, but that would mean I would have to actually go and get as much AP for this spec as possible, and then be able to put points into this. So this is actually really difficult to test. But I'm guessing it'll get Kingsbane reduced to maybe half, if not a 15-second cooldown, which would be kind of insane. But then I guess it kind of also, I don't want to say it reduces the effectiveness of Kingsbane, but it definitely makes it a lot more useful. So you'll be using this ability and kind of spamming it, which is kind of cool because you'll be able to use this in your rotation. And once you mark an enemy for Kingsbane, you'll just train him down as much as you can so you can get the cooldowns of this back. And I feel like this is kind of cool for PvE and PvP. I think this is a much cooler thing for PvP in terms of more buttons to press than PvE. Alright, let's talk about the spec in terms of changes for BGs. I feel like it's a solid spec for BGs. The one thing that I think did hurt the spec a lot is the Deadly Brute nerf, where Master Poisoner, actually it wasn't even Master Poison nerf, it was a nerf to wound poisons. So your wound poisons are no longer as effective as they used to be. With Master Poisoner, it's 24%. A hunter can grab a pet with Mortal Strike effect for 25%. So you have to talent and you'll still be under the effects that other players can use in terms of healing reduction. And that's just, I think, is a little bit funny. But that's just personally me. They nerfed this for arenas and for BGs, just PvP in general. And I feel that's kind of where Assassination took a little bit of a hit, is when they nerfed it. They also nerfed Assassination by 5% in terms of agility, and they're not really buffing anything here. They are giving you ability to deal more damage with the Garrote. They are giving you more damage and stamina with the Silence of the Crown, which is a trait that everybody gets. Dense Concoction is kind of cool defensively. I feel like for BGs, the spec is going to continue being great. I'm currently enjoying Assassination for Battlegrounds. I think it's a fun spec, dot playstyle, the burst, everything. It's pretty great, especially with the fact that you have blinds, so it allows you more control and everything else. And for arenas, I haven't been seeing a lot of Assassination lately, and I actually get to play some 2100 rated games and anywhere in between. So I believe that for arenas, Assassination, I don't know if this will be enough to make a comeback. Because basically the only buff you're really getting is more Kingsbanes and stronger Garrote, which is good. Stronger Road is more damage, and Bag of Tricks, I guess, a little bit more RNG reliability, more or less, but not really that reliable since I ran around and tried, you know, hitting train dummies back to back to back. So it's really hard to decide, you know, which one of these is actually that much better. I think for serious arenas, the spec might not be all too amazing, but it definitely is a powerful spec. I feel like Subtlety gets ahead of Assassination just by a little bit, although Assassination can work well with specific comps, of course. So if you have specific comps where Assassination Rogues are basically there just to train one target, or therefore maybe some great swaps, then I feel like the Rogue spec of Assassination will be just fine for the most part. So BGs, completely fun, completely viable, a lot more stuff to do, and you'll be able to use Kingsbane a lot more often. So more buttons to press. For arenas, I'm just not quite sure. I feel like in specific comps, yeah, but is it going to be the spec that everybody plays? Probably not, but that's just my personal thoughts. In terms of PvE, the spec is getting a little bit different things to use with Urge to Kill, so maybe some of you might consider running Deeper Stratagem, because the Urge to Kill will give you the full energy that you would have instead of not giving you full energy while with Vigor, and might even cause you to want to run Deeper Stratagem for Bag of Tricks procs. So with Bag of Tricks, you get 12.5% with 5 common points, but when you get 6 common points, 12.5 plus 2.5, 13, 15%. So with 15%, it actually might be worth it. I'm just not quite sure exactly how good this will be, so I'm just gonna give it a try. Here we go, get the energy. Full combo points, nothing so far. So far, nothing. Let's try it here. Nothing? Oh crap, well that kinda sucks. Let's try another one. Rupture? 15% still is not enough. We need more. Still nada. Okay, let's just speed it up a little bit. Nothing. Okay, it was super boosting this anyway. Oh, hey, it actually did it. Cool. So I guess it does kind of allow you to play with this a little bit, or more likely for you to play with this in terms of talent choice. Maybe Deeper Stratagem might be the PvE option. I feel like a lot of rogues will end up staying with Vigor for the most part. It's really hard to tell, but I guess we'll have to see in the future. And that's everything that I have for you guys in terms of Assassination. So let me go swap specs and change my page on Wowhead to see exactly what the changes are for Subtlety. So it looks like Subtlety isn't getting any changes, except for your artifact weapon, the extra traits here. The extra traits are as follows. You get Shadows of the Uncrowned for 10% more damage. You get Etched in Shadow, increase the effectiveness of Symbols of Death by 1%, and after you stack it, it's like 4%. So normally your Symbols of Death is 20% damage increase, so this will be a 4% increase, which is good, but I don't really know how good it is exactly, because I played in PvP with Use Bargain, that's a 20%, but this 20% doesn't feel like an actual increase in some cases, so it is really difficult to tell how good this is, or if this is any good at all. But regardless, yeah, that's what I got so far with it. Shadow Whisper. Shadow Techniques also grant you 5 energy. Shadow Techniques are... Actually, Shadow Techniques are... Shadow Technique is 15% chance per 2 combo points. Yeah, so whenever you gain combo points, it'll grant you energy. So you'll have a lot of energy to play with as Assassination. Now this is gonna, incline you to play certain talents, but we'll take a look at it in a little bit. So Shadow Techniques grant you 5 energy, which is cool. Whenever you generate your attacks have a chance to generate common points, more resources for common points as well. Then there's Feeding Frenzy, which I first kind of didn't consider this to be that amazing, but Gorma's Bite causes your next 3 finishers moves to cost no energy. I can't read today, but after you use Gorma's Bite, the next 3 finisher moves cost no energy, still near the common points. Now, let's take a look at the spec and break it down for PvP. Currently, Assassination is one of those specs that's probably dealing the most amount of damage for PvP, in my honest opinion. Here we go again. Alright, Relentless, let's just snag this real quick. But yeah, regardless of anything, I think Assassination is the spec that's currently doing the most amount of damage for PvP. Your Nightblade is a third of your damage. You can't cleanse Nightblades anymore, so they have to take an enemy the whole time, for the whole duration. You have a lot of Shadow Strikes for back-to-back-to-back damage. You have pretty good beefy damage with Eviscerates, with Gorma's Bite, and as long as you can use Finality properly in order to line up your kills, you get to play the spec and basically almost any way you want to. The spec is mobile, lots of dot damage, lots of setups. Like, what else do you need? It actually is one of the most powerful specs in the game. in my personal opinion, in terms of damage, control, and everything that it offers. So this spec, I feel like, is just going to be that much better in PvP. For BGs, everybody's going to have fun. You'll have 4% more damage on Edged Whisper, Edged Shadow. Your random shadowy technique combo points are going to give you energy, so that's also cool. Your Feeding Frenzy is going to allow you to deal a lot of damage, and that's kind of what I want to talk about. That last one. Feeding Frenzy. Gorm's Bite causes your next 2 finishers to cost no energy. This is going to be awesome for BGs and arenas, and I feel like people are going to come up with awesome rotations to use after using Gorm's Bite, because now you are, if you can remember this, as an assassination, you're running with Relentless Strikes. Your finisher moves have a 20% chance per combo point to generate 40 energy. So normally, let's say as a Subtlety Rogue, you would be on a target, right? Let me try see if I can just waste all my energy. So I have 5 combo points, no energy on the enemy. I need to make sure to get 35 energy, right? 35 energy, I gain it back. Because you literally, whatever, you just need to have the energy to originally use your finishers, and then you get energy back. So this way, you're getting more energy with Shadow's Whispers from your Shadowy Techniques attacks, and your Feeding Frenzy, no energy cost for your finishers, and your finishers refund you energy. So I feel like Assassination Rogues are going to be able to get some crazy burst, and I feel that meta might go towards Deeper Stratagem. And the reason I say Deeper Strat is because with Deeper Strat, you kind of feel energy starved. You do a lot more damage, right? Your Nightblades are doing a lot more damage in general. But everything else is just kind of slow. It gets sluggish and you can't spam as many Shadow Strikes. Prior to a patch that we had before, I believe 7.1.5, there were changes done to Subtlety where Deeper Stratagem just wasn't quite as good. It is a good talent still nonetheless, but to have to use 3 Shadow Strikes for combo points just to get yourself to the point where you can actually start dealing damage and having to manage it, it's just you run out of juice fairly quickly. And that's where it gets pretty annoying. What kept you afloat is using Gorm's Bite in order to give you energy. So with this, I feel like if you're using Gorm's Bite, you're able to use Deeper Stratagem and invest all this energy for Shadow Strikes and none of it for your finishers, allowing you a lot more explosive damage. Whether it be, let's say, you're using Feeding Frenzy and you, let's say, put Nightblades on everybody, or back-to-back Eviscerates is kind of what most people will be looking at. So I feel like for Subtlety, BGs are going to be great, but arenas are going to be even that much better. But it's going to be something fun for players to learn and something for them to excel at. So this is actually something that you as players will be able to learn and grow on as you play this. So this is something that's going to be, I feel, pretty damn good. I feel like that's the only talent that will really be changing is going from Vigor to Deeper Strat, as long as you're able to use Gorm's Bite properly. For PvE, I feel like the spec, I haven't really seen the spec for PvE that much. I haven't really get to play that much in terms of raiding and dungeon environments lately. But I feel like the spec will just be stronger. It's not really getting anything new, and I think the spec was already playing with Deeper Stratagem in the past, so this just makes it that much easier for people that have been PvE and a Subtlety with Deeper Strat. But maybe it'll even allow people to run some different combos of maybe like, I really want to see Gloomblade work. I haven't seen that work so far, but maybe there'll be something different, but I'm not 100% sure. Though for PvP, Subtlety will be pretty fucking great. Anyway guys, this is everything that I have currently for Rogues in patch 7.2 in terms of Subtlety and Assassination. And these are all the changes that I kind of wanted to cover. I feel like both specs are going to be doing just fine for PvP. I feel like Subtlety is definitely going to be ahead of Assassination in terms of like rated arenas. And I feel like both these specs are going to be just fine when it comes to the PvE raiding dungeons Mythic Plus environment. So whether you're playing a Rogue for the PvE experience or the PvP experience, I feel majority of the players will be just fine with some of the changes, because these are not crazy big changes. These are pretty cool changes in terms of allowing players to be able to play the specs and maybe find new things for the specs to do. For example, with Subtlety going for in PvP for more of a Deeper Stratagem kind of playstyle, for Assassination to have a little bit more, I guess, quote-unquote guarantee in terms of your, or a specific % chance guarantee in terms of your bag of tricks, and the Vendetta change almost like enticing you to play Deeper Stratagem a little bit. I feel that the spec can do really well. We'll have to see if the patch comes out, because I can only speculate and give you guys my opinions about what I think is going to be happening with the specs, but we won't really know until the patch releases and we get to see everything for the glory that it is. Anyway guys, I think this is everything that I have for you so far. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed. Let me know what you thought about everything that I covered in the video in the comments below. And let me know which spec are you most excited about. Are you more excited about this Subtlety Rogue, slight changes to your artifact traits, or are you more excited about some of the changes coming out for Assassination? And let me know why. Thank you guys so much for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see all of you in the next video.